How do you not have vouchers? It's the only thing to prove that you were there. Hi, my name is Diamandi. Welcome back to Getting in Character. In the past, I've forgotten to say this, so please subscribe to this channel. We are so close to getting to 1,000 subscribers. Once the channel gets there, I'll be able to do live videos on YouTube. Yay! That's also one of the 2 qualifications for starting to make money on this channel. So thank you in advance. Help a sister out, subscribe. If you like this video, please also like and share it with your friends, okay? Before we go into business, this channel is about what it's like to be a model and an actress, what it's really like, not about walking around looking perfectly made up and having a glamorous life, but what it's really like down in the trenches. You feel me? This particular video is about my second experience working on set in COVID. So it's going to be a little bit about quarantining before, working on the project, and a little bit about the after. And if you like my shirt, I will put a link to it in the description box below. Blacktress, ay! The project we're going to be talking about today is a TV-ish type of project, filming in the Northeast, East Coast, Philadelphia area. That's my primary market. This project was 7 days of quarantine total, so 6 days of isolation plus 1 working day. It ended up being that they extended the workday to be 2 work days, so it ended up being a total of 8 days in quarantine or being paid to work, and all of the days were paid, theoretically. That's what we thought going in, at least. Once you work a couple of these, you notice that there is not a completely standard protocol for isolation and quarantine. This was a pleasantly relaxed experience, and here are some of the guidelines they gave us. For groceries and essentials, they suggest curbside pickup or deliveries, no indoor shopping. That's pretty standard. So the general rule for quarantining when you're working on a project is you aren't allowed to go into a building that's not your hotel. So that means no grocery store, no convenience store, no gas station, no Target, no Wawa. Because I knew this in advance, I planned on doing some photo shoots, and I was looking for outdoor areas that were open spaces and available to the public. So the original idea was to take a look at state parks. They were closed. So I ended up in a random parking lot. More information on that in the other videos. This is actually kind of a 3-part series. The other videos are a vlog of the 8 days in quarantine, talking about what I did to stay busy during those days. So please check out those videos to get more details. There'll be a link somewhere at the top of this video or at the end of this video or in the description. Actually, all of those places you can find a link to those other videos. One of the coolest things about this quarantine situation, other than being able to pretty much come and go as you please, is, they also said you could have people over to your room if they were working the production. So let's say you noticed your friend in the lobby, if you noticed how your friend walks, because everyone has their face covered, of course. You could have someone over to your room that was also quarantining for the production, as long as you stayed socially distant during your visit. We were in a suite, the type of hotel that has suites. They're pretty much like studio apartments. There was kitchen, dishwasher, dishes, a separate living area, and then a bedroom area. So it was really a joy to be quarantined away from home in this type of environment, because you could literally cook dinner, breakfast, and lunch for yourself and not have to eat out. Well, you could get around eating out every day anyway, but it was just a little more feasible to have a true meal. I mean, there are cutting boards, sharp knives, pretty much everything you can think of was there. So that was really, really nice. Pay situation. There's going to be an updated video on this because there are some discrepancies. However, our understanding as performers was that we would be paid our SAG rate for every day from quarantine through the end of working. So that would be $178 per day for every quarantine day. And then obviously that same base rate for the work days plus any overtime. My check came when I wasn't home. I heard it was short. So gonna get that straightened out, and then we'll talk more about that another time. Zones. Okay, this particular production also had the zone system going on. It's not that it was confusing necessarily, but there were parts of it that were confusing. For instance, this shoot was on location, so things are always a little bit different, and you're limited in size and space based on the space you rent for holding and that kind of thing. We were in a holding area shared with the production crew, and it said zone 1. It said the zone name outside that wasn't our zone, but it was because it was a shared zone. There was a PA kind of outside or nearby to kind of direct you. That was a little confusing, but everything else was pretty standard. All right, let's talk about eats, the fun stuff. Breakfast was a little different. I was one of the last in the background cast to get there because I was in a particular scene with one other person. So everyone had an earlier call time except me and this other person. Our call time was an hour after everyone else's. So by the time I got there, everyone had done everything. They were all dressed and they had eaten. And also it was approaching, my call time was 11 a.m. And so everything was kind of winding down in terms of breakfast. I went over there and they had pre-made breakfast. It was good though. I'm not sure if they had options, but by the time I got there, they only had one option available, but it was very delicious. I'll just say that. And then for dinner, okay, dinner was in single serve plastic containers, and there were about 4 options. There was like a salmon and quinoa, a shrimp and polenta, a veggie. There was some kind of pork salad. If you were vegan, I don't know what you would eat. I'm sure there was a vegan option. So let's just say there were 5 options to choose one. At least 4 of them were hot, and then there was that weird pork salad thing. There was also a small garden salad for everyone, and there were cookies for dessert. But the interesting thing about this was they wheeled one of those heated carts that held the different meals on the shelf, and then there was someone on the production handing them out because we're not supposed to touch things, of course. And okay, crafty. The crafty situation was pretty similar to the previous production where crafty was there. You tell the person behind the table what you want, and he or she hands it to you, and you go on about your business. This was a pretty nice crafty. It was a little more robust than the previous one. Mask protocol. This production was a little bit different in that they have color-coded masks. So the project I worked on previously, you had to have the white N95 mask, and there was a gentleman whose job, it seemed to be specifically to go around and make sure everyone had on their white KN95 mask, and if you didn't have it on, you had to step away from everyone until you put it on. This particular production, the masks were color-coded. People did wear them, but it was not as strictly enforced. The other thing was, not only were we on location, we were shooting very far apart from each other. I was in a particular scene with one other actor because we were doing something we had a very specific action to do. However, pretty much everyone else that was background seemed to be pedestrians. So I guess I could understand that people weren't so, I don't know. People did have masks on, but like some of the security didn't. And I was like, I did ask one guy to put his mask on because he was talking to us, and we were talking for a long time. We were just like, shooting the breeze. There were a bunch of us in a circle. And so I very kindly asked him if he would put his mask on because some of us have relatives who are high risk and we just want to keep everyone safe. He did do it, which I appreciated. But other than that, there was no one really walking around telling people to put their masks on. Social distancing. Remember in the other production, they were telling us very strictly, make sure you stay 6 feet apart. Even if we were walking together, they would say break up. There wasn't a single person who did that this time. Again, we were outside and we were on location, and let's say catering for breakfast was 5 blocks away from holding. Holding was maybe 3 to 5 blocks from set. Everything was spread apart, and there were... Okay, we're back. We're losing light. I'll speed it up. I got a phone call. That was the interruption. We were talking about masks, social distancing, holding. I don't remember what we were talking about. Holding was spread out. Only 2 people could sit to a table. They had the chairs in specific places. I also heard one PA tell the other one to wipe everything down when everyone left, which I saw this person doing. So that was encouraging. There was also sanitizing stations around. Like if you needed a wipe, a tissue, a glove, a mask, some hand sanitizer, there was an area in holding specifically for that. Also around the set, you could just find certain areas where that was. Also, when it came to props, okay, on the previous production, we went to props for them to prop us. This particular production, at least for my role, the props came to us with what we specifically needed for the scene, because remember, we had a very specific action. So they did wipe, I saw them wipe down something they were handing me or my scene partner. It was, I don't remember what it was, but they did wipe down some things. Not as much in detail as the other production. Hair, makeup, and wardrobe. I did not see hair and makeup really ever. No one came to approve us. Also, my call time was an hour after everyone else's, and there were just 2 of us in that group of call time, so it could have been that hair and makeup came before we got there. Otherwise, all I saw was wardrobe. Someone from the wardrobe department, she called me a couple days before we went to set and she asked what I was wearing, so I sent her photos, so she had an idea. As a matter of fact, she knew exactly what she wanted me to wear, and she just told me, wear that thing, and I put it on. That was no problem. So they didn't need to like touch anything or anything like that, but they seemed to be as hands-off as possible. This time there weren't as many people in the surgical gear. As a matter of fact, I don't know if I saw anyone in it. So it was a little more relaxed. Lastly, the vouchers. These are digital vouchers, and it's a different digital voucher system than the previous production. So it was just challenging. A lot of us were missing vouchers. I even called the union. I just wanted to know, what do you do when vouchers are missing? Because we asked the PA and he said to write into tech support. I did write into tech support. They asked me what days were missing. I told them and they never responded, and I asked them twice. I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know who to ask, so I asked the union, there's some vouchers missing. Should I be concerned? So they called payroll or production, and the person they spoke to said it should be fine, but if I gave my name, they could check on it for me. But I told the union rep, no problem. They said it's fine, it's probably fine. Also, payroll was hitting the very next day. I told her I would just wait to see if the check was right and then would let her know if there was an issue. Checks are not right. I'm not home to see mine, so I don't know if I'm gonna have my mom open it and send me photos or wait till I get home. That's an ongoing situation, but I mean, how do you not have vouchers? It's the only thing to prove that you were there. In terms of a receipt, for instance, the PA does what they do on their end, checking boxes, and I guess that goes to the payroll department. But what receipt do I have? I don't know. this was kind of messy, y'all. So it's ongoing. I'll let you know what happens with that. But the short answer is the vouchers were missing and some of the pay was missing, so it seems. So stay tuned. Thank you for watching this video. This was my second experience being on set in COVID on a large production, and I hope this either helps you know what to expect when you go to set or makes you maybe feel a little bit more comfortable about working in pandemic conditions. Please subscribe to this channel, share with your friends. Please give it a like, thumbs up. It really helps people to discover these videos, discover the channel, so we can start making some money on the money train. Because y'all, we're gonna be home for a while. I mean, there's some things shooting, it's not on the same level that it was pre-pandemic. So sis got creative. So thank you in advance for helping sister out, getting creative with the income. And remember, this is a video series. There are 2 other videos, so there'll be links in the description box and somewhere on the screen. Please check them out. Thank you, and see you next time.